All right. Hey, everybody. We're here talking about setting up wholesale accounts with manufacturers, distributors, how so people can obtain exclusives, communicating as a professional. We've got Mark, Todd, Valerie, the whole crew's here to talk about what you can do to, make that as easy as possible. If you're not into talking to people, it can be hard, but, hopefully we can walk you through some ways, to get those exclusive accounts so you don't have to be fighting it out with people.
This is my professional nose that I wear when I'm setting up wholesale accounts. Use
Right,
this.
and it doesn't matter what you wear because you're sitting at home, you can be wearing your pajamas and your red nose. It doesn't matter.
Hey, everybody wants to know the secret. This is it right here.
I would for sure give you a good deal, Mark.
Yes. Yeah. I'll tell you. When I show up with that red nose, people are all over me.
They're like, just take it off for free.
So Valerie, you have a lot of experience talking to, cold calling companies, talking to people, dealing with, up to CEOs of large companies, people who not only, aren't may not be open to, what you want to do, but, are, totally against what you want. We don't even have those kind of problems because we're trying to sell something. We're trying to buy it. But, in some of your previous jobs, you had, people who really wanted to have nothing to do with you. So I think you could, because Valerie used to deal with, large companies that were, she was setting up, and trying to get people to come to, big trade shows, conventions, and people would call every day, trying to get them to send their reps. So Valerie had, some good experience dealing with people that were completely against her. Luckily, in this business, we don't have that problem. They're trying to sell to us, but, but we're trying to get them to only sell to us, which is a big difference. It's a big step from only, saying, hey, will you sell me some of your stuff, to will you stop selling to everyone else and only sell to me? And that's the step that you need to get to really start making a lot of money in this business. Because if you can eliminate all your competition, then there's no race to the bottom. There's no anything but contacting your rep or getting that letter from the company, and which makes you the contact with Amazon, where you say, we have an exclusive and these people are not allowed to sell this product. And, that is the place where you need to be to really not have to fight anything with anybody. It's like having your own private label product, but it's a brand that everybody knows and trusts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess to jump in on that. Yeah. I worked with a lot of people who calling in that the last thing that they wanted was to talk to me or hear from me, because I was just another person trying to get their business. And the one thing, when I first started in marketing, before anything, you come in and they give you a script and they're like, all right, this is what we want you to say, go in, say it, hopefully they buy, or, hopefully they'll attend our trade show, and that's it. And I grew very quickly in that because I decided, so a script is really good to go off of. For example, in our last webinar, Mark, you had that base, a basic what you go in with, prepared to say. So it's really good to have that, but the biggest thing is making it your own. And I think that's why I did so well, because a lot of people are so put off by just talking to someone And all these people are is people. In the end, that's what they are. They're people doing business, and they're there to do business, and that's what they want to do. And if you talk to them like a person and not a robot, or not, terrified, you come in there and confidence is key. So if you talk to them, and bring them a proposal that is for, where they're going to make money, you're going to make money, they know you're serious, but you just talk to them like a human being. It's the easiest. You'll make friends, and that's as much as it takes. It's so much more simple than it seems if you just treat people like they're a person and not like they're some really important person. They might be an important person. They're obviously important if you want to do business with them, but they're still just another person. And if they see that you're coming in there and you mean business, and you're willing to show them that, here's what I want, here's what I'm doing, and this is how it could be beneficial for both of us, there's no reason that they won't listen to you. And you might not get the answer that you want, but, even if it's 10 no's that you get, it's going to take one yes, and it could make you a ton of money. So. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, in reality, as it correlates to this business, Todd, how do you approach the situation when you're trying to get exclusive, or even just set up some kind of a business relationship with a new company?
For exclusives, the approach I've tried, which it's been 100% really, it works really well, is when I approach them like at a trade show or in person, I'll ask them if they're selling on Amazon. If they say no, I'll say, well, are you interested in doing so? Because if so, I'd be happy to show you how to do it. I offer to give them, and I tell them it'll take about 15, 20 hours. I can go through all the rules, the steps and processes, show you how to do it yourself, free of charge, no obligation. I've only had one of them take me up on that, because most of the time when they hear the time, they don't want to do it. But the one that took me up, I got about an hour into it, and they said, well, hang on a second, is this something you can do? Because once you start rattling off, glass jars, suffocation labels, boxes done, it's just all the rules, sales tax, everything else.
Oh, no.
I think we lost
it. Layout. What's involved?
You cut out there.
Yeah,
you cut out for a minute, Todd. I think the last we heard was suffocation labels. Andy's gone again.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, well, you're back.
Okay.
The last we heard was suffocation labels.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. So not to belabor the point, but basically my goal is to tell them enough details that I see their eyes start to glaze over. You see them start not really comprehending what you're saying, getting overwhelmed. Because the point is, you want to show them how complex it is to sell on Amazon, to make it apparent that the best choice is to let you do it. So like I said, I've only had one take me up on it. The rest of them, I explain what's involved. But then I offer that I can take care of it for them at no charge of them. They sell to me at the same price as other wholesalers. It doesn't cost them a penny. I eat the returns, just make it all simple for them. It's a shoe-in for them because they want to be on Amazon. It's just most of them don't want to deal with the details of being on there.
Yeah, I found that with a lot of vendors at ASD this last trip. A lot of mom and pop and smaller vendors, they want to be on Amazon, but they've had a lot of bad experiences, and they're really looking for a partner that is going to do right by them. So.
Yeah, their number one fear is usually MAP. I mean, they're always concerned about brand erosion, price erosion, losing the value of their company. And that's where having a repricer comes in handy. I don't call the repricer, but I tell them, a big concern is protecting your brand, protecting your price. I explain that we have software that physically will not let our price drop below a certain level. We set a minimum price that will never go below that. So there's no chance we're going to violate the MAP agreement. Also mentioned that we can offer monitoring of, if there's other vendors on different products, we can offer price monitoring for them. All that's fairly straightforward. But most of the time they've heard the horror story from other entrepreneurs of something on an Amazon, the price drops in half, they can't sell to the retail stores, it goes downhill from there. And actually with two of my exclusives, I've actually proven to them, and this is good to bring up, that using us as a exclusive actually improves the relationship with their brick and mortar stores. Because I explained to them, if we always honor MAP pricing, then you can tell your brick and mortars to tell customers, go ahead and scan it, because they'll find their product on Amazon. They'll find it for the minimum price at the lowest. So as long as they're selling it at MAP, then you can say, but you can take it home today from here. But if you're below MAP, then it's a price saving. So actually, it's easier to sell to brick and mortar if they have only one person selling on Amazon.
MAP pricing means minimal acceptable pricing.
Or minimum advertised pricing, yeah. Different people say different things, and that's a good point, because a lot of people get, these letters from manufacturers, not trying to stray from the idea, but, that's a contract that you sign with the manufacturer or distributor saying that you're not going to go below that price. So if you don't have a contract, that means you have no obligation to follow any kind of MAP pricing. That right, Todd?
That is absolutely correct, yeah. I've seen more and more adopt MAP pricing in the past year. I mean, when I first started with wholesale probably 3 or 4 years ago, only about a fourth of them mentioned it. Now, probably 90% of the companies have some type of MAP because of the price erosion. And one thing that's important to bring up, if they're considering doing business with Amazon, if you ever talk to a manufacturer that sells direct to Amazon, Amazon is notorious for being horrible about honoring MAP pricing. Slow payments, all the time they want you to float the payments. I mean, they're a pretty bad deal for small companies. So that's another thing you can use to sell, is that you're not dealing with a enormous billion-dollar company that doesn't really care about you. You're dealing with a local seller or small business seller that'd be more sensitive to your supply needs or kind of what you need for a product.
Right. And nobody, really wants to sell to Amazon.
Right.
Big companies, small companies, they do it because they have to, so I really think that's a selling point, is that they don't have to deal with Amazon. Chris Green's talked about this a lot of times. They used to deal with Amazon. He used to work for Bosch, and they would have an order every day, and usually companies like Home Depot would order 8 pallets of one drill, and Amazon would come with a spreadsheet, and they'd make an order every day, but it would be 1 drill bit, 3 saw blades, because they knew exactly what they needed. And for a small company, it's it can be very aggravating, and they don't care about breaking MAP. If somebody else breaks MAP, if Walmart breaks MAP, they'll do whatever they have to do to match pricing.
Yeah.
So, they'll sign a MAP agreement, but, they'll follow it as long as everybody else is following it. As soon as someone breaks the rule, then they do it as well. So, that's just something to keep in mind. I've spoken to a lot of sellers who, have exclusives because those manufacturers don't want to deal with Amazon. Most places, if it's a small company, they want to deal with another small company, or they've dealt with Amazon in the past and they don't want to do it again.
Yep.
You're doing the same thing that Amazon is. You're getting their product on the Amazon marketplace. And in the end, that's all that matters to them. You're probably going to pay more than Amazon will, and you're going to, have a better working agreement because they can call somebody. There's nobody to call, at Amazon if you don't like the way that they're selling things.
Yeah, and Sean, not Sean Mayo, but Sean in the chat room just posted a question that I was actually going to mention, where he said he got an exclusive, but he's having a hard time marketing it, moving up in rank. I'll answer, or someone can answer this question, but before I answer, I was going to say, make sure that sometimes, and I fell into the straps, it's the only reason I know, but sometimes the novelty of getting an exclusive will overweigh the business decision of whether or not that's a good product. So it's easy to get excited and think, hey, I'm going to get an exclusive, and go nuts over product when it turns out to not really be a good product to be a dud. So It's important to remember that they're not really doing you a favor by granting you an exclusive. It's a business deal and a business arrangement. So if you get a product that's going to be hard to market, hard to sell, you have to dump a lot of money to get ranked, then make sure you do that research, take it into consideration, and make sure you have an out with them, because, one of my first products that I got exclusive on, I was so excited to get the exclusive that I was in the hole for the first 12 months because I wanted it to work. I wanted to show them that I could, be a great seller, and it was just a dud. It was a horrible product. So don't fall in love with the idea. It's still got to be a business decision.
Yeah, I want to address Sean's question there as well. It's probably worth your time, Sean, to go back and reread that update in the TOS, because it's perfectly fine to give away product. What you want to do is, and it's also fine to ask for reviews. You just can't ask for a 5-star review. You can't dictate what the review is going to be. One of the things that they updated was that you're not allowed to give a discount any longer for a review. So all those places that have like exchange networks and where they're given like a 90% discount, that's near as I can tell, that's a violation of the new terms of service. But you're perfectly fine if you give product away for free and then ask for a review, ask for their opinion about it. But you just can't say, hey, if I give you this product for free, give me a 5-star review.
Right, but you also never could do that. That's always been in the rule. Most of those rules that they changed, I think, were just clarification of the rules, except for the discount part. As well as the part where they're saying you can't use it to specifically modify the sales rank. So you can't give away 1,000 of an item, so you're in the top 100 or the top 1,000 rank. To get on that first page, and then naturally you'll organically stay there. The point of the giveaways is to get reviews, which they understand to a point, but they don't want you to specifically do it for other reasons. That was always a given, but I think they've just clarified it a little. Because a lot of people are doing that. People don't need, to spend $5,000 on product for a review, for that many reviews. They're doing it to get that rank up, and hopefully it'll stay up that way.
Yep. And one thing I usually tell them on exclusives too is that for us, Amazon is not an advertising vehicle; it's a sales vehicle. So for this to work, you guys being the people manufacturing products still need to be doing the trade show. You need to be promoting your brand. You need to be advertising your name and logo, because it's not our brand, it's your brand. We're just providing another platform to sell it on. So that's one of the things that Sean in the chat room was mentioning. If the person that you have exclusive with is doing nothing to market their product, then you lose organic search on Amazon for the most part. So almost all of your advertising is going to have to be paid, or reviews or that type of thing, to climb the ranks. And that's kind of an uphill battle. I've walked away from a few of those just because it's a lot of work to build someone else's brand like that, and there's not really a big payoff.
Right, because once you start building that up, people are going to look on other sales channels for it. Yep. And at any point, they can stop selling to you.
Exactly.
If they choose to sell themselves on Amazon, you're not going to be able to afford to buy from them anymore.
Exactly.
You just put all that time and money, into somebody else's brand.
Yep.
If you're going to put all the work in, create your own product. There's plenty of product out there. Just to private label it yourself.
And we have a video in the group too, with Rye Rice about that, if anybody wants to go look back on that.
You need to be careful too, though, with the suppliers you're working with. We just released our first private label product, and the supplier that we were working with underhandedly signed an exclusivity agreement with another Amazon supplier or an Amazon seller. So now we have to find another supplier for the same product. And so, I mean, even if it's your product with your brand and all that stuff, suppliers can sign exclusivity agreements for the raw materials that they're making the product from. So there's a lot of sleepless nights. Private label is not it's not it's not a cakewalk. You know, you've got to do your homework. You got to know who you're dealing with, and you got to be, you know, it's so funny. Like this supplier, this is going to be like a 15-second rant, but you know, the supplier, they're saying, oh, hey, you know, you can sell our product through any other channel you want, just not on Amazon. I'm like, so you guys, you totally betray us, right? And you want us to go out and sell your product and build up your business, and then what's going to prevent you from signing another exclusivity agreement once we put all the money, time, energy, and effort into doing that? You guys can go jump off take a long jump off a short pier as far as I'm concerned, you know? And so we're in the process of trying to find other suppliers, but you can believe that the second we find a good supplier, we'll go after them for an exclusivity agreement too. Lesson learned, you know? So anyway, so I hear that there's a phone script that we're going to get privy to here. Is that right, Todd? Or
yeah, and I wrote it. It wasn't really intended much for a script. It's more of I get tongue-tied when somebody throws me a question I wasn't expecting. So what I did is I wrote kind of an intro script, and then I wrote out, if I was taking the call, all the objections I might have. You know, like if someone's calling me and saying, well, what about this? Or are you this? Or, you know, just so I had all those questions and answers written down and ready for them. So before I would make a cold call, I would just read through the script, so it reminded me, you know, all the answers to, like, why would we sell to you? And we already have an Amazon seller, and, you know, what can you do that we can't do? I had all that stuff fresh in my mind. But you can use it as a script. I would just not obviously read it off the phone, but it just kind of steps through, you know, how to do an introduction, how to speak to the right person, how to, you know, mention your selling experience, what advantages you bring. You know, it just kind of goes through the variety of things. And as I've heard new objections or new responses, I've added them to the script. So this is a 3-year living document, really.
You got an objection handle for we don't like bald guys?
I never hear that, actually. We're pretty popular, believe it or not. So
can I add in on that too, to what you said? I think that's super important and key for everybody. A script is a great thing to have and to go off of, and like you said, you read it and you prepare yourself, but reading off of it is not good. You know, like making it your own and making sure that you're prepared for those objections and making sure that you're comfortable with what you're saying, rather than if you're stuttering because you're trying to read off of a script, like that's going to sound worse than if you just talked like it was yours. So I think that's a really good point that you made, is that use something as a basic outline that you're prepared for and prepared with, but definitely make it your own, so that they believe you, so that they believe that they need you, that they believe they need what you're selling. They need to need you.
Yeah.
And if they don't believe what you're saying, then they're not going to buy it.
And I completely agree with you, Valerie. On the other hand, depending on I used to run a call center, and depending on the experience of the people that are utilizing the scripts, right? We were always really adamant that, you know, for the first 2 weeks, we did not want them off script. And there was reasoning behind that, right? Like, right. You know, you have to trust the script, and you have to find a way to use the script, not like reading like a robot off the script, but you have to understand that the script has been written in such a way for a reason, right? Like there are these objections, and this is how you handle the objection. And then when you start, you know, putting in your own words, and you start getting off on tangents, and you go down roads that are horrible to go down, you know, because you end up losing the sale because you think you know better than the script. Not you, Valerie, but you know, like the caller thinks that they know better than the script, or the people that are going to use Todd's as a basis here. You know, I would strongly encourage you to really challenge yourself if you decide to use Todd's thing that he's put so much effort and energy into, that he uses to win exclusivity agreements. Use that.
Yeah.
Like, use it verbatim, at least for the first 5 or 6 interactions, right? And then what you'll start to do is you'll start to be able to make it your own after the point where you are extremely comfortable using it verbatim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's just my 2 cents, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You should always have enough knowledge in it before you you never think you know more than them. You just think you need to convince them that they need you, and using a script as a base to educate yourself and to come off as professional is absolutely key. You just, like you said, you just don't want to sound like a robot. You want to somehow put your own personality in there and your own knowledge. And so, yeah, absolutely. Are you going to go over it, Todd, or are you just going to share it, or are we going to like post it, or?
Yeah, it's already been posted to the groups.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't go in verbatim, but essentially I have an opening listed, and then it kind of branches off like if, you get no objection, they just transfer the person in charge of it. It kind of goes through the basic information they ask for. So if it's kind of a, Tony rode the pony, they deal with wholesalers all the time or resellers, then that goes there. If you get someone that's chatty, a lot of times someone will say, oh, you sell on Amazon, we tried that, or we've got a seller if they kind of had a bad experience. And there's a whole section on kind of walking them through, looking for issues that they're having. They're kind of bringing out your strengths there. And then the last section is objections like, do you have a retail store? We're already selling on Amazon. We support buy local. What are your sales? How big are you? And so it's not really being deceptive, but it kind of puts a professional spin on some of the answers so that, I even have the section titled Jedi Mind Tricks for Objections. You kind of want to make them think, these are not the objections you should worry about and get them to move on. So, there's good answers to all of that, and it just kind of lists out the steps. But it's once you read through it, hopefully it makes sense. But if you have any questions, obviously feel free to post them. But
well, Todd, why don't we, just for giggles, why don't we do a couple of role plays so people can hear the intonation in your voice and in kind of how you would speak to a potential wholesale account. Would you be open for that or up to that or?
Oh yeah, sure. As long as I don't have to sing or dance, I'm good.
Right on.
Well, there it goes. Out the window.
Hey, well, so Valerie, since you have all the like the experience of being on the phone and talking to CEOs, why don't you be like a really horrible wholesale person for him and give him like tons of objections and see how we'll grill him.
Horrible?
Just be tough. Don't be nice. All
right.
I can see her smiling, so this is going to be real believable, but I'll try.
I know. I'm like the worst person to not be nice. Like, I'll be like, oh, it's okay. I feel sorry for you. Do you want to?
Well, I mean, you can be nice because most of the wholesale account people are nice. It's just that they say no over and over again, right? So
yeah, they're either tired or burnt. It's usually they're never really mean. It's just they're just overworked or they've had bad experiences and they're really had them rude.
Right.
So I used to just call and say, hi, my name is Todd Ryan. I'm calling on behalf of Acme or whatever the company is. May I speak with the person who handles wholesale accounts, please?
That would be me.
Okay. So if it's a successful transfer, then I typically say, hi, again, my name is, Todd. I'm one of the owners of Acme Inc., whatever the company name is. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. Can you tell me a little bit about your wholesale account program?
Sure. So am I going to go into this or am I just going to?
Yeah, go for it. Like, well, you could say, what do you mean? The script there, he says, what do you mean?
All right. Yeah. What do you mean when we're discussing wholesale? What are you looking for?
I'm interested to find out, what your terms are, your wholesaler requirements, your freight on board location, order thresholds, that type of thing.
All right. Well, we actually have, we do everything large wholesale. We don't deal with private sellers, and everything is in our disclosure packet. So if you're interested in that, we have it online, and you can look into that. Okay.
And if it's that type of reaction, cut and dry, just kind of a wholesale program, that's one branch where usually you just get the information, you move on. So they clearly have a wholesale program. It's pretty much just cut and dry thing. Mm-hmm. But for instance, she said, well, we're just starting our wholesale program, or where you looking to order, or that type of thing. And that's when I would branch into like, do you find that your widget sells well nationwide, or does it typically sell better regionally?
Regionally.
Regionally, okay. And have you had any success selling it internationally?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. Have you noticed that certain retail themes work better than others? I mean, are you kind of in the gluten-free area, crafter, homemaker?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you fit into certain retail themes more than others, such as, gluten-free or craft or?
We're targeting a very specific audience.
Okay.
And yeah, our goal, for example, would be gluten-free.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our different. We're very specific to who we're targeting.
Okay. And again, the whole point of this section is to kind of get them to warm up, because for a lot of these entrepreneurs, their product is their baby. Pardon the pun. Their product is their baby. So once you get them talking about it, then usually she'll answer like that, and then she'll say, the reason I started this is my cousin has gluten allergies, and there was nothing really that fit this market, and they'll get excited and start talking about it. And that's when you kind of got them on the hook. So once they explain that stuff, then I would really usually just launch into what we sell on Amazon. We've been selling since this year. We have a nearly perfect customer experience record, professional commercial photography. I noticed that you don't have any of your products on Amazon. Is there any reason for that, or have you looked into it?
We did look into it. I think everybody kind of looks into it. It's just not something that I don't see the benefit on selling. I mean, I do and I don't. It's just a lot of time consuming for me, or if I have to hire someone to handle that, that's obviously me spending money. So the time that it takes to put in versus, how long it would take for me to see an ROI on that. It's not something that I really am at yet.
And you're absolutely right. And really, to do it correctly, you're looking at about $150, $200 a month in fees, plus easily 20, 30, 40 hours a month. That's really our core business. And, we work with a lot of small businesses such as yourself. And really, the way we have it set up, we can do the selling on Amazon for you completely free of charge for you with no extra effort for you. We're just another distribution channel at that point. So really, you ship us product just like you would any other store. We take care of everything on Amazon. You don't have to worry about returns, customer service, packaging, any of that stuff. It's just all hands-free. No contract involved. I'm sorry?
And why would you do that?
A couple of things. One, we like bringing products to our customers that they like. So the more products we have, the happier our customers are. We're very specific about the products we choose. And to be honest, there aren't a lot of products on the market like yours. So once we identified yours, we were interested in carrying it. We obviously make money in the process, but because we do it as a business, we can do it a lot more efficiently and a lot more inexpensively than you could by yourself. So we could turn it around for less money than you could do it yourself.
All right. So if you aren't charging me for the service, what do you then need from me? What is it that you're asking from me?
All we need from you is a product. We would sell it and present it just like a retail store. Obviously, the trade-offs are we don't have the overhead of a retail store, but we have similar expenses through Amazon. So really, we would expect to make about the same profit level as one of your brick and mortar stores. The beauty of it is, you have to be careful when you release your product to online sellers, because they can really erode the price and affect the relationship with your brick and mortar stores, which you don't want. But the great thing with us is we have automated tools that enforce the MAP pricing, so that there's no way we can ever go under your MAP pricing on any of your products. So that's great, because then you can go back to your brick and mortars and say, hey, we've signed someone to represent our product on Amazon, but here's the good thing. They're never going to be below your price. So if you have customers in store that mention shopping online or want a price check, encourage them to scan the product, because then they will find it for the exact same price you're charging it or less. So then they'll still be a happy customer, because they can pick it up right there in the store. You don't have to worry about competing with someone that's $10 less online.
What kind of marketing then? How will this be covered for marketing? Is marketing going to be under our terms, or?
Well, we don't want to take over your brand. It's still your brand. It's still your creation. So we will leave all the, trade show and word of mouth and heavy advertising to you. Just by virtue of the fact that you're selling on Amazon, it's like having a card table in the middle of the Mall of America. Millions of people are going to see your product just strolling through. So we will do some targeting advertising. We will kind of pitch your product against competitors when people are searching for it generically. But we still expect you to carry the banner of your brand and go represent at trade shows and, just kind of grow that however you see fit. we're really more of a mirror for your brand than we are an adaptation of it. So we'll just reflect whatever you're already doing.
And this will be indefinitely, or do we take over that at some point? What if our product is selling like crazy and it's the biggest? How does that step in?
It's always your brand. One of the things as an entrepreneur you have to watch out for is people that are trying to erode your market share or your value of the company. We never do that. So there's no contract. There's no long-term commitment. If you're ever unhappy with us, we ship back what we have for the price we paid for it to you, and we walk away. There's no hard feelings. If you ever feel like you outgrow us, you can certainly take it back over. We have no long-term stake on your brand or your company. We're just simply another retail storefront, essentially.
Okay. Is that good, you guys? Is there more? What do you think?
Well, he's got to go for the close, man.
Yeah, you want to close it up? Why?
So what would it take you to get you into this car today?
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah, at that point, I typically would say, again, we really love your product. I'd love to at least give it a shot. We can start with, we'll purchase 2 or 3 of your items at the regular wholesale price. So if it's a complete bomb, you haven't lost any money. It's what you normally would sell for. If it takes off, then we can talk about, sales volumes and what we'll need you from there. So if you could just let me know your top 3 products, we'll start with those. And then once we receive those, I'll keep in touch with you every week until we see how it's going.
Yeah, that sounds great. All right, you're in. Done. Deal.
Super.
You can sell whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Now, one of the big objections you typically hear is, do you have a retail store? This one, the way I usually dodge it is we will typically go to like an open air market or festival or some kind of selling front, on a periodic basis. So when that question comes up, my response is that we work with a few traditional retail store partners, which we do, and we occasionally do face-to-face selling at festivals and events, if that makes sense for our product line. However, our primary focus is selling worldwide on our established online platforms.
Now, Todd, sorry, go ahead.
That's it.
I actually have a question for you. Do you, which I would assume I know the answer to, but do you educate yourself on all the product and any product you're going after, any wholesale? I mean, do they ever test you on that? Like how educated you are for their brand? I mean, a lot of people, like you said, are very passionate about their products and why they started it. And does that ever come up?
Yeah, I educate myself on their Amazon presence extensively because I'm looking for, the products with 2-star average review, the kind of stinkers. I'm also looking for sellers that are doing a bad job selling the product because that's an easy win for me. One of my things in the script is, hey, I notice you're on Amazon, but your pictures, don't really reflect the quality of your product. Just kind of a nice way of saying, hey, those other people stink. But I will educate myself enough to know, because I'm trying to get to their bragging point. So like if they're the only gluten-free product that's made in America, I'll say, hey, I'll notice that, there's a lot of things, but yours is the only one I can find made in America. And then because I'm trying to get them excited about telling me about their product. So it's
all those people.
And I only pick products that I feel like I know about. I would say hair care products I would not go after, but anything else I'd be interested in.
Yeah, I think that's super important too. In my experience, getting people excited to do business with you. That was always, if you can find, it could be the slightest thing that you connect with them on.
Yep.
You could, for example, if it's gluten-free, you could be like, yeah, it's something that I'm passionate about as well. My grandmother, has needed it. And that could immediately drop their barrier. It'll drop their defense mechanism and, make them relate to you more. So, I think that that's super key and super important as well is to find a way to just open them up and make them excited about doing business with you and again, making them feel like they need you to better their business.
And several exclusives I picked up from Kickstarter, which I don't know how many people are familiar with Kickstarter, but it's a crowdfunding platform where people, when they're trying to make a movie or a game or a food product, they'll put it out there and they have a funding goal. And if it hits that goal, then you're charged and, you get rewards and stuff. I think 2 of them, I picked it from there. So that's a real good conversation starter, because you can say, hey, I backed your project on Kickstarter. I really loved it, and the other good thing is people on Kickstarter are typically not on retail platforms. They're brand new. They've just got an idea for a product. They're fledgling businesses. It's the perfect time to get in while they're small and then just kind of ride the wave with them. So 2 of mine were just Kickstarter products from a year ago that just kind of took off, basically.
Yeah, that's great.
Or Shark Tank. I've cold called Shark Tank people. I watch the episode, I look up the company name, find the phone number, and I'm on the phone the next day.
Yeah.
Now the problem is a lot of other people started doing that, but a year or 2 ago, I mean, one of them ended up doing, 2 of them actually did their own thing on Amazon, but Henry's Home Thinkers, and there's a guy that made a water bottle that you put fruit in the bottom that both look like to be great sellers. Actually talked to them, the people that are on the show, went through the whole thing, got excited. But some of the younger crowd want to do it themselves on Amazon because they're comfortable with technology. So, but those are all great ideas to find new products.
Yeah. Any way that you can find,
Yep.
I mean, it's if you just take the time to look, it's out there. There's people every day trying to build their brand. There are people everywhere, every single day. So it just takes time to look and, educate yourself.
Yep.
Educating yourself about what you're going to purchase or start, that's huge.
Yep.
It's the best thing that you can do.
Coffee shops, they call them MAKE events where people go actually make stuff. Anywhere there's entrepreneur, inventors, creative types is where you're going to get into that stuff. And those are the big wins for me, is to get something before someone else has a chance to even hear of them.
Yeah, great. I think we have some questions that we're a little backed up on. I'm not sure if we've answered them or not. Where are we?
Chuck wants to know, when you're calling wholesalers to set up your accounts, are you telling them that you sell your products on Amazon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely, you always want to be upfront with what you're doing, but you need to pick your battles. If you're not going to be creating an account with them, they don't need to know what you're doing. So, for example, if you're contacting, a giant company that doesn't sell direct, and you're just looking for their distributor, there's no reason to tell them. You don't call Kellogg's and say, hey, I'm selling on Amazon. Can you tell me what distributor to go to? You tell them you're looking for a local distributor and your zip code, your city, and can you give us a list of your local distributors in my area? And they're going to respond with, a list.
Yep.
And then, once you're ready to set up your account, you need to explain to, whoever that rep is, what you're doing. There's no point in lying about it, because eventually it's going to get tracked down. Amazon's not going to hide any information from a manufacturer.
Yeah.
They're going to tell them who they're selling to and how to contact you. Nothing is hidden here. So, be upfront with what you're doing, but, don't tell everybody you talk to what you're doing. You tell the people who need to know the information, because in the end, that distributor probably will have a lot less of a problem than the manufacturer. So don't build your own roadblocks. Wait till you get to the point where you need to share that information before you, start telling them, well, I sell on Amazon, I do this, I do that. So, there's no point. Only release the pertinent information to your discussion.
Yeah. And I would not ever tell anybody to sell on eBay, because right now eBay has such a bad buzz among manufacturers and vendors that it kind of paints you in a certain light. So I personally don't ever reveal that.
Yeah, I doubt I've ever told a manufacturer I sell there.
Yeah. His second question on the same post was, do you have a personal website linked to your Amazon store? I know that's a hot question you've addressed a few times, Sean.
Yeah, sometimes, I personally don't have a lot of wholesale accounts. I have done it in the past, and I've helped plenty of people do it. I just don't like the margins in wholesale for the most part. If you have an exclusive, it's a different thing. But I'm looking for high margin items. I have a lot of people that can help me do the work. So I'd rather have higher margins and pay somebody to process liquidations or closeouts, things like that. So I run on a different business model. But if you're trying to build something up with wholesale, then I would definitely have some kind of website. I wouldn't probably wouldn't have actual products on it, but more about make your business look like you are some kind of distribution network. You're a local distributor, which you are. That you sell. If you're selling on FBA, they're warehousing your products. You're paying them to hold your products until they sell. So if FBA is in 20 states, then you're in 20 states. Whatever those warehouses are doing, they're warehousing them for you. So you can use those things. Don't tell them that, you're a partner with Amazon, but you can have all that information there. You can say you're distributing to multiple countries, multiple states. You have warehouses all over the country, and you put all this information in your website and tell them, that you're a distributor for, individuals and local businesses or whatever you're trying to across. But I wouldn't make it look like an online store, because if somebody goes to an online store and you have 5 items there, that's not going to help you at all. And also just forwarding to your Amazon store, I don't think that's going to be real helpful either, because they don't know what they're looking at. All they think is you're forwarding them to Amazon. They don't, most companies aren't going to be able to comprehend that this is actually your Amazon store on the Amazon marketplace.
Yeah.
So just make something where, it's going to make them happy. They're only going to be there about a minute anyways, just to verify you're doing what you said.
Yep. I have a one-page website with 0 products on it, and I've never had an issue. They hit it after the phone call, but there's no products, no links. It just basically said, we're international retail. Here's some of the lines we carry, and I have a couple logos, and that's it. Sweet and simple.
It's a great way to market yourself.
Yeah, you kind of have some mystique about it that way, And my fear, because, I sell mainly wholesale, but occasionally I'll send a used book in or something. My fear is if I link to my Amazon store and they click on it, first thing they're going to see is a couple of used books, and a Hasbro toy or something. So it doesn't really fit your image. With a single web page, you can kind of control what you want them to see.
Right. You can market yourself, just because you're a single person selling or buying doesn't mean you can't market yourself to look like the best thing since sliced bread. And that's what you want them to think, is that you're the best, you're the next best addition to their business.
Yep.
And you just need something clean and simple. You don't need to spend $5,000, on a professional website. You just need a little one-page, something simple that you don't have to spend a lot of money on. Just neat and clean.
I like your haircut.
You like my haircut?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you.
All right. Thanks.
No problem.
Okay. Were there any other questions?
Somebody was asking about consignment.
Somebody asked, in your experience, how receptive have wholesalers been in regard to consignment terms? I believe purchase-based agreements are the industry standard, so I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to develop a wholesale relationship under consignment-based terms.
I kind of think that's sorry, but I kind of think that's sort of amateur hour. I just don't think that if you're representing yourself as a distribution company or a legit company that's looking to set up real wholesale accounts, that you're going to be looking to do consignment. Now there are opportunities to set up like net 30, net 60, net 90 accounts, and you can submit. Most wholesale companies will have terms that they offer after you've done like a get to know you deal or something like that. But you got to be really careful with those agreements, because the second you violate one of those, you're gonna have a hard time placing another order with that company. So you gotta make sure that you manage any terms that you do set up carefully, and that you make sure that you take care of your obligations there. But I would not be having a consignment agreement when I'm trying to set up a wholesale account. There's no way. You know, maybe maybe after you get to know them later, or something like that, if it comes up, then that might be an opportunity later as you develop your personal relationship with them. But those salespeople, they're so overworked and they have so little time. You have to present yourself like you're like what you're doing, even if you don't. You grab onto the end of the speedboat and hang on with your fingernails. You just pretend like you know what you're doing, and get out there and do it and take action, right? Call. It's like Sean said at the beginning of the call. We posted one of the wholesale deals that we posted to the groups. Only one person out of all the people in the group took advantage of it, and they ended up setting up an exclusivity agreement with them, right? And I guarantee you, they probably didn't know what they were doing, but they just got out there and they did it. And they made it happen, and that's what you guys need to do too. But one other example, and I'm not sure if I've shared this before or not, but there was a post in another group that just drove me absolutely crazy a couple of months ago, where the wholesale this person they'd done all the effort, they went out there, they contacted the wholesale company. The company's like, yeah, we'll set up an account with you. Shoot us over your reseller license and your tax ID, and we'll get you an account set up and you can place your first order. And the person in the post was like, I don't want to give them my tax ID. That's private information. Well, you know what? Companies that that do this, they give that stuff out like that, right? They give out their tax ID and their reseller license like that. They don't even think about it. They don't even in fact, some of these businesses, when they're really serious about setting up, like if you want to set up an account with Jolly Rancher, let's say, you know what, you put your tax ID, you put your reseller license all together in a packet with an order, and so you call Jelly Belly or Jolly Rancher and you find out who their distributor is, and then you put that packet together and you send it to their distributor with your first order with a check that you scanned. Oh my God, you scanned a check to place an order. Somebody could steal your identity, whatever, right? This is not the thing these are not the things that you should be concerned about. Is that right, Todd?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to start thinking bigger. You have to start thinking like a business. So,
yep.
Sorry for that little passionate thing there, but I really want to see you guys get out there and make waves and set up these accounts and have fun doing it, and don't get so hung up on every little thing. Just can you believe this guy Todd, who's like hanging out on our webinar? He was calling people that were on TV. Oh my God.
Yeah, the stalker. What's funny is most of them had never been called by anyone else. That's what just floored me. I thought, Shark Tank, they're going to be, oh yeah, another Amazon guy. No thanks. But they're like, oh cool. Yeah, we were thinking about selling on Amazon.
And how dare you, Todd? How dare you call people that were on TV?
I know.
How dare you have the gall to actually take action and do stuff that other people are afraid to do, right?
I know. Yeah.
I think people are so afraid of being turned down. They're so afraid of the no.
Yep.
But it's you can't be afraid of the no. You've got to just go out there, because that yes is life. It can be changed. It can change everything. So it's huge. You can't be afraid of the no.
And what dawned on me is they need us as much as we need them. This is another sales outlet. It's no extra effort. It's just like a brick and mortar store that they can sell their product. It's a win for them. So it's not like, because I had the concept that they were doing me a favor by letting me sell them. Well, it's really a mutual deal. And once you get over that, you'd be surprised how many opportunities there are. And a lot of people are lazy. Even if they are working with Amazon sellers, it's not hard to smoke the other ones.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Yeah. If you can get up and you can hustle and you can use your brain, you know, the gray thing that God gave you between your ears, you know, and just get out there and make some sort of movement. It's not hard to outperform the other guys, because the other guys are barely moving, you know. Yeah. So anyway, just believe in yourselves, take action, and look, you know, when we're posting those wholesale alerts, or those, you know, the bolos that we're posting, or when John posts a group buy, jump on that, you know, get on that and take action. And John, your mic's muted. Not sure if you mean it to be, but you know, yeah, just lots of possibility out there, guys. Lots of possibility. It's so, you know, it's so funny. Like we talk about makeup and other stuff. The second somebody tells me they're liking a niche, or they're making money in selling a certain product, man, 5 minutes later, I'm out there putting money into it, because I want to learn it. You know, I want to understand how, you know, like I don't necessarily want to be selling cosmetics for the rest of my life. I mean, there's a lot of other things that I think I'd rather be doing, but you know what? I'm figuring it out right now, and pretty soon going to be an expert on it. So, you know, just get out there, do that work. So anyhow, hope that's encouraging. If you guys still have questions that need to be answered, you know, feel free to hit us up in the groups. Otherwise, I think, Sean, are you good to call it a night?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much. Hope this has been helpful. Say some nice things about all of us in the groups, and we'll see you in a few days.